They told you the cameras just missed it. They told you it was about privacy. They told you nothing unusual happened at all. But what if the most photographed institution on Earth suddenly went blind, not by accident, but by design?
I was there, hated the day. The day was a miserable day. I mean, it was a worst royal engagement I ever did, a royal wedding I ever did.
Actually, this does look like a moon bump to me.
Are you buying that excuse that Meghan Markle used a fake belly to protect her real belly? I'm not buying this.
What if I told you the world's most famous royal runaway didn't dodge the cameras by hiding, but by outsmarting them? Not with shadows, not with disguises, but with strategy. Because when it comes to Meghan Markle, disappearing isn't a mistake, it's a method. A carefully choreographed vanishing act performed in full public view. This is not a story about motherhood. This is not a story about tabloids. This is a story about power. Who controls the image, who controls the narrative, and who decides what the world is allowed to see.
I traveled the world with him, and I did really enjoy working with him. But, now I really don't care if I ever see him again, because the way he's behaved towards the king and our queen and his brother and his sister-in-law is appalling.
While other royals live inside duty, tradition, and decades of ritualized restraint, Meghan played a different game entirely. Not service, spectacle. Not silence, spotlight. A brand built on being seen, while simultaneously controlling what's never shown. Victimhood framed as virtue. Self-promotion disguised as persecution. Every move calibrated, every moment optimized. And here's where it gets strange. The woman who could turn a single glance into a global headline somehow erased the one image every royal photographer has captured for generations.
She delivered it like an actress delivered it, an opera responded going, wow.
That iconic moment. The royal pregnancy reveal, the unmistakable image that defines succession, continuity, and legitimacy, gone. Not delayed, not blurred, deleted from existence. And the silence around it wasn't accidental.
Archie Harrison, Mountbatten Windsor, was the name, and had nothing to do with the royal family.
Arthur Edwards, the man whose lens documented 6 generations of royalty. The same eye that caught Diana's vulnerability, the monarchy's fractures, its humanity, was ordered to step back. Banned, locked out, told explicitly to stay away, let that land. While cameras were frozen, the spotlight never left her. Interviews danced across screens. Tears streamed on cue. Documentaries rolled. Contracts stacked higher than royal protocol. Meghan didn't just marry a prince, she married the algorithm. And while the palace clung to tradition, she mastered modern image warfare.
You're gonna see or hear Meghan Markle's belly pop. You're gonna see these people's faces. And I can tell you that one of these people is now speaking out.
No authentic bump photos. No raw documentation. No unscripted moment. They called it privacy. But privacy doesn't usually come with Netflix lighting and global rollouts. This wasn't absence, it was blackout. A total media shutdown so aggressive it rattled Buckingham Palace itself. When Kate steps out pregnant, cameras flash like lightning. History is written in shutters. But when Meghan stepped out, photographers were told to stand down. It wasn't discretion, it was control. And the people who noticed first weren't the tabloids, they were the professionals.
Obviously, when William was born and Harry was born and George and Charlotte and Louis, we got great pictures outside the hospital. I remember, and William and Catherine especially, they made such an effort to show the whole world their new baby.
Arthur Edwards had waited decades for that shot, and it never came. No call sheets, no photo calls, no access, just a polite royal command that screamed louder than any headline. Silence so thick it echoed. For someone who preached authenticity, this was the cleanest disappearing act the monarchy had ever seen. Houdini would have taken notes. And the questions started whispering. Was this really about privacy?
Bump theory. Well, basically, it suggests that Meghan didn't actually give birth to these children and that she was wearing a prosthetic bump. And of course, lots of medical experts have come out looking at that video and saying it's just impossible for someone who's literally 9 months pregnant and about to give birth to dance in that way.
Or ownership, because nothing says transparency like armed security enforcing invisibility. Meghan was everywhere, yet nowhere that mattered. Seen but never verified. Present without proof. The palace PR machine spun itself dizzy, the tabloids went feral, and Arthur Edwards waited for a photograph that never arrived. Then the internet did what the palace didn't expect. It looked closer, 5 seconds. 5 blurry seconds. That's all it took. A heavily pregnant Meghan drops into a squat.
I'm not a Meghan Markle fan, and I don't defend her, and there's all sorts of inconsistencies and hypocrisies, but, you know, she's an actress. She's not the brightest cookie in the basket. There's no way Kate would do anything like that.
Pops back up. Spins. Effortless. Fluid. Internet sleuths froze the frames. Zoomed. Slowed. Replayed. And suddenly, the moon bump theory had its crown jewel. Medical professionals weighed in, online forums exploded, Twitter sharpened knives, Reddit built timelines. YouTube turned into a 24-hour courtroom. The headlines didn't say congratulations, they said illusion. And while the palace whispered no comment, glossy lifestyle images flooded the feeds. Perfect angles, soft focus, filtered motherhood. Because nothing screams reality like a Netflix aesthetic and legal silence. The louder the rumors grew, the quieter the palace became. Every unanswered question acted like gasoline. And when Arthur Edwards confirmed photographers were explicitly blocked, the internet didn't see caution, it saw confirmation.
The thing that strikes me is her lack of understanding and recognition of the role that she had or has in the royal family. And, you know, both of them have been on the record repeatedly saying they don't want to be living their lives through the lens of a camera and in a goldfish bowl and all of that. And then they take the camera into the most private of rooms where you're about to deliver your baby.
Why build a fortress if there's nothing to hide? Then came the whisperer. Not a royal. Not an insider. Just someone orbiting the Sussex universe who hinted the story didn't quite align. And suddenly, doors closed. Phones stopped ringing. The temperature dropped. Anyone repeating those words felt the chill. Because silence isn't passive in royal circles, it's enforced. We've seen this before. Paul Page spoke once and paid for it. The machinery of silence doesn't threaten loudly, it suffocates quietly. Jobs evaporate, messages go unanswered, pressure arrives wearing politeness. And the harder the system tried to erase the whisper, the louder the internet listened. Because behind every royal smile sits a war room. Polished oak. Scripted responses. Plausible deniability. When this story heated up, the palace didn't grab a fire extinguisher, it grabbed a script. That's what it does best. It doesn't end scandals, it manages them. Staff whispered about meetings where every sentence was stress-tested for optics. The mantra echoed, never complain, never explain. Dignified on paper.
On May 6th at 3:02 a.m., Brockmore Cottage. This is a public announcement. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex used the services of a surrogate. We apologize for any misunderstandings. To this day, nobody has debunked that tweet as fake. In order for a child to be in the line of succession, it has to come from the body of the woman. Why would Meghan Markle be faking all those big stomachs? You know, that big belly, the belly swaying back and forth. She was huge. She was overdue. Now when Spare came out, we know that story is absolute horse.
Dangerous online. Because the internet doesn't forget, it screenshots. While Meghan polished her global persona under California skies, London scrambled, emails vanished, briefings turned cryptic, and Arthur Edwards, locked outside the gates, became proof that even the crown fears one unfiltered image. Inside the palace, truth wasn't destroyed. It was archived, locked away next to the family silver. The monarchy survives on one sacred equation: continuity plus credibility equals survival. And for centuries, nothing threatened that formula more than uncertainty around succession. Bloodlines aren't gossip in royal circles, they're infrastructure. One crack, and the whole system starts to shake. For generations, the line to the throne has been treated like a sacred algorithm. One bad variable, and the entire system collapses. So when social media began dissecting timelines, titles, and birth announcements,
She is literally kneeling all the way down. One of those people reached out to me, but not before this person reached out to the newspapers, complaining that the palace was literally threatening her, that the palace had tried to bribe her, and when that didn't work, because she really dislikes what's happening and she wants to come clean, and she has been trying to tell people.
The palace silence stopped feeling graceful and started feeling frantic. Press secretaries perfected the art of answering questions without nouns. History had already shown what happens when the narrative slips. Edward lost a crown. Diana shattered an illusion. And now, a Netflix generation was live streaming royal mythology in real time. The monarchy wasn't being debated anymore. It was being binge-watched. And then came the doctor. The neat press release perfect solution to a spiraling mystery. A distinguished physician named as the one who delivered the Sussex baby. Clean. Tidy, official, Until it wasn't. Meghan at the Albert Hall. How many weeks pregnant was she supposed to be? Was it about 8 weeks? And she looks as if she's at least 5 months pregnant. Within days, the story fractured. The doctor's own husband reportedly said it never happened. Confusion detonated. The palace said one thing, the press printed another, and the internet poured itself a drink. For an institution obsessed with precision, choreographed smiles, rehearsed handshakes, color-coded coats, this was the equivalent of tripping on the red carpet in front of the world. And also, why is the belly several shades browner than anywhere else? It's not supposed to be browner. One contradiction was all it took. Reddit turned into a digital war room. TikTok sleuths broke out timelines. Freeze frames replaced front-page headlines. And instead of clarifying, the palace retreated into its favorite position: silence. No corrections. No confirmations. Just a vacuum so loud it begged to be filled. Because when the royal machine refuses to fact-check itself, the internet happily will. Screenshot by screenshot. By the time the dust settled, one truth remained unavoidable. The crown guards secrets better than it guards credibility, and it still hasn't learned the golden rule of modern monarchy. Silence trends louder than truth. In royal language, silence is communication, and no one spoke it better than the late queen. When she wanted to send a message, she didn't issue statements. She rearranged objects. Last year's Christmas broadcast told its own quiet story. A framed photograph, Harry, Meghan, baby Archie, vanished from the polished oak table behind her. No announcement, no explanation, just absence. Do you remember when Diana was delivering Harry or William? There was complete quiet. No one knew. We cameras couldn't get even anywhere near the hospital. Sure, but we let alone in the room then. We didn't have mobile phones then, but it was so private. And there's a dignity with privacy. And I certainly wouldn't if I were pregnant dance like, well, I can't. To casual viewers, it meant nothing. To royal watchers, it was a diplomatic mic drop. Every object in those broadcasts is placed with surgical precision. If a corgi shifts wrong, someone gets an email. So when that picture disappeared, the message didn't need subtitles. The queen never unfollowed anyone. She simply erased them from the frame. Calm. Calculated. Centuries of power condensed into one missing photograph. And history shows when the crown goes quiet, it's never peace. It's prelude. Because what followed took the mystery from palace corridors to hospital hallways. Every royal story ends on a balcony. This one ended at a hospital that apparently lost its Wi-Fi. When questions about the birth hit fever pitch, attention turned to Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, the alleged backdrop for the Sussex arrival. I would say step one would be to confirm this room. Find out where it was. Find out that spec, that very room. Find out which room it was and go look at it. The institution had two choices: confirm the story or disappear. It chose disappearance. Congratulations were posted. Then weeks later, the hospital quietly reminded parents about mask rules and distancing. Translation: we're not confirming anything, but please stop asking. That kind of legal double-speak makes attorneys comfortable and journalists furious. Because in the age of receipts, no comment sounds suspiciously like good luck proving it. Meanwhile, online investigators turned into digital forensic teams. Floor tiles, LED fixtures, oxygen placements, CSI, Royal Edition. The hospital stayed silent, HUPA sealed, untouchable, while the rumor mill roared outside automatic doors. And through it all, Meghan's image stayed pristine, glossy, curated, untouchable, a brand beyond verification. There's no stress there, not even a little bit of stress, none. And there should be there because she's getting ready to have one of the worst painful things of her life, having a baby. In a world where everyone live streams everything, the most powerful family on earth left its biggest question unanswered until one man stepped back into the light. Arthur Edwards. His words cut through years of speculation with surgical calm. We were told to stay away. Maybe it was privacy. Maybe it was control. Either way, the result was the same. The most powerful brand in Britain blinked. Because this was never just about a pregnancy. It was about narrative ownership. About a dynasty struggling to survive in a world where every silence becomes content and every mystery becomes monetized. From banned photographers to vanishing doctors to hospitals that ghost-hearted the next royals, this wasn't a fairy tale. It was a franchise, streaming live from the cracks in royal perfection. And every time the palace hits mute, the internet turns the volume higher. But this wasn't the end. Because the real collapse didn't start with a bump. It started with an online leak, the moment the Sussex image fractured beyond repair. That's where the implosion truly began. And trust me, once you see how deep that rabbit hole goes, you'll never look at royal silence the same way again. It's the same way again. It's the same way again. It's the same